here we go. Where's TK today?
Look at us on this beautiful beach.
Today we are North Padre Island outside of Corpus Christi in the southernmost part of Texas. But that will be week 15. But this is week 13.
13, we started by going to Stonehenge.
Yeah, we're at the University of Texas, and who knew Stonehenge was in the middle of Texas?
Who knew we were going to be at Stonehenge?
Yeah.
It's in Odessa and on the Permian Basin campus. It's, yes, U of T.
Yeah, it was interesting. I'm not sure when we're going to get into England next, or London, or where the hell is it?
Stonehenge is it's England. I don't know where.
But this was a representation. It's not an exact representation, but they decided to put that up because apparently they had nothing better to spend their money on except build a bunch of slabs. I don't know. Did you find out any more information besides that?
It was a student project, and it is slightly shorter, but other than that, it is laid in the same configuration. It is actually set to the longitude and latitude of the regions, so that it would be a observational area. And in summer solstice, that heel stone, that one stone that was like across the street, not in the you know, the circle, actually casts a shadow directly into the center of Stonehenge. And
that's during equinox, summer solstice.
Yeah.
It was interesting. It was a stop by. I don't know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
We probably spent more time talking about it than we visited it.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it on a must go to see or make it around a vacation, but it was, you know, we were driving by.
Yep, and that was on our way to
Balmorhea,
the Balmorhea State Park that has a 1.7 acre natural spring-fed swimming pool. That is quite the attraction during the summertime. During the wintertime, it was all ours.
Yeah, and glad it was. Loved it.
Yeah,
it is the world's largest spring-fed pool.
And it was up to 20 feet deep at points. There was additional spots, and it had a high dive, which no place has high dives anymore in California. So that was kind of fun. My dive wasn't graceful. It was just a chicken jump. But the pool is maintained naturally around 70 to 75 degrees.
All year round.
All year round. So when it was 40 degrees and we jumped in, it was awesome.
It was lovely. It felt amazing. It's one of those things that it was a little thing, but I'm so glad we did it. It was amazing.
Okay, what did you think of it?
I am so glad we did it. I thought it was awesome. The water feels so nice and clean.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel all tingly now.
Yeah, I feel tingly, feel alive, kind of feel a rebirth. I'm not going to say like baptism or anything, but it was definitely a fun experience. The water was what?
I thought I read somewhere that it was 70-ish, 70, 72 or something.
A lot of fun. I would do it again. I don't think I'd get out though. I think I'd just survive in there. Yep. That's it. Happy trails. And beautiful sunsets too. The campground wasn't much to speak of, but the pool was the attraction. It was the centerpiece.
If you were a birder, I think you'd probably be a little more interested. There was because of that natural spring, it did kind of run around the campground a little bit too, and tons of birds. I can't identify them, but they flew and stuff.
Yeah, they flew and stuff. They had wings to get out right here, stuff, etc. When we left there, we started heading our way south to Big Bend National Park. That was one of the ones on the list. Oh my gosh, the sun feels so good.
Yeah.
Big Bend National Park is one neither one of us had been to before, and it was a spectacular sight. On the way to Big Bend Park, you do pass through Big Bend Ranch State Park. And we found a little hike to do in there.
Closed Canyon.
Closed Canyon.
It was worth a stop.
So, where are we off to this morning?
Closed Canyon.
Okay.
Big Bend State Park. Heading to Mexico.
Yeah. Is this the Mexico side? We're not in Mexico. No. No, we are very close to Mexico. We've been driving across beside the border for a minute. But yeah, Closed Canyon. Mile and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Off we go.
Yeah, not much of a hike. It was really super flat, but it was very narrow, and it did get a little spicy towards the end. And if we had ropes, we would have kept going.
Those long legs will make this look easy.
Being we had a destination and that wasn't our day thing, we decided to not go very much past the close sign and hike on.
And honestly, we spent, I think, about 3 days in Big Bend, and we could have spent 2 weeks there.
Yeah.
If you're going, plan in advance, get some campsites and some permits to do some camping outside of the, I don't know, what do they call them, the official campgrounds, and you can spend a good amount of time there. I don't think you'd be short of things to do or hikes to do.
Yeah, there were a lot of boondocking camp spots available, but they are booked when we were there. None of them were available. As a matter of fact, we had to stay in one of the outermost campgrounds, Cottonwood Campground, and we were only able to get 3 nights and 3 separate camp spots at that location. So we would have had to switch every night from spot 5 to spot 13 to spot 15.
Yeah. Which honestly, in our case, because we're so sort of contained and we drove out of the campground every day to go to another camp spot, it was okay for us, but it would have been a pain in the butt if you had to set up all your stuff every time.
Yeah, if you had a trailer that you dropped and you had a toad or something that you ran around, the park is very big. To get from Cottonwood to easternmost part of the campground, it was 90 minutes. It was 60 miles to get between locations there. So we had to use a truck, and so we had to pack up every day. Before we set camp at Cottonwood, we did go to Santa Elena Canyon. Gorgeous canyon that has the Rio Grande running through it. We actually got permits to do kayak, to drop the kayak on the water and kayak into that a little farther. But with the weather turning, we decided not.
It's a whole affair. It's a bag on the top of the camper, so you gotta haul it down, you gotta fill it up, you gotta reverse the whole process, etc.
Dry it out, etc.
It was not meant for us, that trip.
But Santa Elena Canyon is a beautiful canyon. It's very close to Cottonwood. You probably should still drive unless you're into a good long hike before you get to it. Highly recommend Santa Elena Canyon.
And it was the first time I'd ever seen the Rio Grande in Mexico right there too. So that novelty did not wear off. That was very cool. We saw that in a lot of spots and a lot of different directions.
The next day, after our first night at Cottonwood Campground, we got up and we did a couple of the smaller hikes at the easternmost part of the park, which was the
Rio Grande Village.
but it is the easternmost part of the park. We did the Boquillas Canyon. Boquillas. And that's another one that runs right along the Rio Grande, another spectacular canyon.
Is that where the people were coming over and selling stuff?
Yes, that's where a couple Mexicans, they were on horses and they're just selling tamales. You did see some goats on the other side of the Rio Grande, where they were just, naturally out there grazing, and
A couple of horses.
That was our wildlife.
Some burros.
Burros.
Turtles. Saw a couple of turtles in the
That's
river.
right. Yeah, we did.
Yeah. I mean, wasn't much to talk about. They just poked their head up and looked around and headed back down again.
But that was a little 2.3 mile in and out hike, 400 feet of elevation change, not really much. After that, in that same little area, we did the Rio Grande nature trail hike that was through all those weeds and the reeds, and had the really nice aluminum decks that kind of take you out into the reeds, into the swampy area.
Yeah. That was interesting too. We got right to the river, which is nice. And I'm always on a javelina hunt, so we could find some of them. And they are not pigs, just in case. I believe everything I read, they get very offended if they get called pigs.
And they'll charge you.
They are collared peccaries.
They look like pigs, though.
Yeah, they do look like pigs, and they're not in the family, but they're in the gene pool, so they're distantly related to pigs, but they are not.
While we were there, we also jumped in the showers at the little campground. They have coin-operated showers.
That wasn't horrible.
It wasn't horrible, but it really was like a vintage of the 60s. You put your coins in the slot, you slide it closed, the water comes on, the first half hour or the first half of the shower is cold because you're not really sure where's the hot on the knob. You don't know when it's going to shut off. So you wash quickly and thoroughly, and then you relax until the water is no more.
Yeah, it's not the best I've ever been in. And with the ladies, you walk in, it's an open door, it's held open, and you walk past the sinks, and then there's some showers. And the stall I was in didn't actually have a lock, The door's wide open to the hall and there's no lock on the shower. If I was a nervous person, I probably would not have been very comfortable, but gotta do what you gotta do.
Hey man, a shower's a shower, baby. We also got fuel at that point. I thought it was very expensive. Come to find out, it was actually 30 cents cheaper inside the park than at the stations surrounding the park, because we thought, okay, we'll wait till we get out, it'll be cheaper. Boy, that was a bad idea, because it's about 30 cents more expensive outside of the park, which is interesting.
I don't know how quickly they can change their pricing, but everybody was talking about the storm coming in. So it was a bit of a challenge getting propane, which I think you have the story that is worth talking about around that. And I don't know if they changed the pricing of fuel that quickly, but the storm was on everybody's mind.
Led us to be able to stay in our camp spot the second night and the third night. We would have had to move normally because we had reservations, but people in our third night campground never showed up. So they just said, just stay there. You can just stay there and you'll be fine, which was great. We didn't have to move around. We left the chairs out, which is really about the only thing we left out.
The camp host was very active. He was driving around every day, a few times a day.
Yeah. The last full day that we spent in Big Bend National Park, we stayed up in the
Chisos Basin.
CHISOS.
It's the main part of the park. It's a raised 5,000 foot elevation basin that has a lot of the 5-star hikes. Harder hikes, but the 5-star hikes. Amazing views. As you're walking down, you're just walking in this little basin surrounded by all these gorgeous mountains as you're walking to the Window Trail.
Window is very pretty.
The Window Trail is a 6-mile, 1,000-foot drop trail that will lead you to this slot that the whole basin drains out of into the Big Bend Valley. Polished like glass, pretty gnarly, and it's a 200-foot drop if you miss your step. But that's what makes a lot of it just beautiful.
Mm. I could totally see if you weren't paying attention and got too close to the edge, that rock was slippery. And if there's any rain, being up there is probably a really bad idea.
It was a nice hike, 1,000-foot elevation, just wasn't enough for us because we decided to also do
a second 5-mile hike up another 1,000 feet.
Since we'd already gone down, we figured what would make the difference if we go up?
The Lost Mine Trail, I believe that one was.
Lost Mine Trail, and it is another just breathtaking views of rolling, gnarly, rocky mountains and big, wide open valleys where you look off. Gorgeous area. Definitely recommend that hike too.
Yeah, and evidently the local lore was that the Spanish came through, decided that there was a mine that they should go mine, and they enslaved some of the local indigenous people, and local indigenous people, after however long, killed them all, closed up the mine, and never told anybody where it was. So it is lost. The mine is lost.
But there's a lore about a certain time of season, right?
From some church in town, I don't remember the season, let's say summer solstice, the sun at 9 a.m. on Easter morning shines right on the mine.
Yeah.
So you take that for what it's worth.
If you really want to find it, invest the time. That was the end of our last full day in Big Bend National Park, and I had to say it was the most spectacular. It was definitely the hardest, where we hiked 2,100 feet elevation and 11 miles in total, but it was well worth it.
And we did Dog Canyon on the way out. That one was pretty easy. That was just a walk through the desert basically, and then into a box canyon. It was an easy way to finish up the day and head out. That one, evidently, the local people found a dog. He was still guarding the wagon train that was there and deserted. They never found the people, but they found the dog and named the canyon after the dog.
Yeah.
And dogs aren't allowed on the trail, so.
I think this is before that rule, maybe. We did fill up with water. We were super nervous about the storm coming because everybody was on the news. You know, it was the best thing to talk about. Freezing weather, everybody's gonna lose power. So we were a little anxious about, fueling up all the water we could get. We filled up a couple 5-gallon jugs, threw them in the camper. Propane was on our mind because we were running low. So on the way out, we called Propane Place because there's literally one in that town.
Marathon.
The town of Marathon had one propane dealer and one fuel stop. That was kind of an ordeal.
The town is very good about that. Tom called the previous day to make sure he would be there to make sure we didn't run into any problems. And we get there and he's not there. And I go, dang, there goes, all my comfort. It's horrible. And Tom goes, let's call this guy and get somebody down here because they said they were going to be here and they need to be here. Solved our problem and got somebody there.
I kept my temper because I was like, we called you.
Stand please.
We were scheduled to do a boondocker's welcome at this place called Dirt Road. The guy never got back to us. We were kind of nervous about what we were going to do because it was a long run to our next campground. Dryden was halfway between our Amistad Lake and Big Bend, and we didn't want to do a 6-hour day. We were trying to break it up. Guy never got back to us. I did get an email from the boondocker establishment and they said, hey, we noticed that the guy never got back to you. What's up? Blah, blah, blah. They're trying to vet out those people. If they do that too much, they'll kick them out of the system. That was going to be our first stop at a boondocker's welcome on our trip. Didn't turn out so well.
Yeah, we're trying not to do 4, 5, 6-hour drive days. That's just, it's not in the spirit of the journey of what we're trying to accomplish here.
Yeah, we're living. We're not vacationing. We're not traveling. We're just living from spot to spot. And a 6-hour drive, especially in this old truck, it's just exhausting. It's tiring and it's not fun. Mm-hmm. So instead of staying with the Boondockers Welcome, we found a little town, Langtry, that had a community center that would let you stay for free in their parking lot. I don't know what they do at that community center. That town's not nearly big enough for a community center.
They let people stay there.
Yeah, they let people stay there. Nor was that town big enough for the Judge Roy Bean Museum. This was one of the fanciest, well-adorned, best effort museums I've ever seen in such a small town.
Yeah.
I mean, it was completely out of place. They had high-tech camera systems, card locks. They had hologram displays that really didn't work that well. Bulletproof glass around the associates. They spent an incredible amount of money and it was just, I thought it felt short. I don't know, maybe you found it interesting?
I remember the walking stick that they had on display and a few other little things. Like there were some really good artifacts. As far as the museum itself goes, it was small.
And the outside was all closed down too because they were pouring concrete, so they wouldn't let you go outside and see the actual buildings or anything. It was just what was on display. And they had probably 5 or 6 holographic displays where you'd press a button and it was supposed to display a little image that if you got down low enough and you covered your things like this, you could see it. Kind of fell short. But the area, I mean, actually the town was quite interesting. I walked around there a little bit and did some filming. The just abandoned buildings. I really do like dilapidated buildings, and where you try to figure out what it was. Who lived there? Was this a restaurant? Was this a hotel? Was this a brothel?
Could be any of those things. The town was established in 1882 because of the railroad system. And it was a tent camping area stop for the railroad.
Judge Roy was the guy who was running the place for a minute, and he had a fancy for a black and white actress of the day.
Lillian Langtry.
Lillian Langtry.
She had nothing to do with the town, but that was her last name.
Really? I thought they named the town after her.
He might have. It used to be. He did change the name of the town. But I mean, she never lived there. She never knew it existed. Her family wasn't associated with it.
No, and he tried every ploy to get her to come visit him. She finally did. Unfortunately.
11 months after he died.
Yep. So, wah, wah.
The railroad was rerouted in 1920, and from there, the town just kind of made its way into desolation.
So our next camp spot was Amistad Lake National Recreation Area. On our way there, we scouted a few campgrounds and found the one we want. We're like, hey, There was a Planet Fitness in Del Rio, Texas.
Del Rio, I was surprised that everything you need is in Del Rio.
Didn't feel like there was an actual town next. Planet Fitness, Walmart, Home Depot, etc. We did stop and do a food shop. The storm was coming in, and we were seeing some reports on the social medias about just wild Walmart lines trying to stock up. We didn't really find that storm to be that big.
Not really, but it was cold, and I appreciate everybody who did check in to see how we were doing, give us reports on what they'd seen on where we are, and just making sure we're okay. And that's really special, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
And what she means by everybody is all of her friends. My friends are all die, Tom, die. I mean, I did not get one notification from any of our associates that there was a storm coming and that we were going to die. Karen got quite a few.
And we didn't, so yay.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, so win-win. That was the end of week 13. If you guys like what we're doing, like, subscribe, and tell a friend about it. Happy trails.
We'll see you out there.